Welcome back to Edgework, part of the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm Zack Phillips, joined by Alex Moretto and So Money with his incredible hair here this morning to break down the 4 games on the schedule here tonight, give out best bets, answer questions from the chat, maybe get into a future from someone on the show here today. But before we get into any of that, you guys know it, and if you don't already, hockey is in full swing, and with FanDuel, you can turn a little hunch into a true power play. FanDuel has the hottest same-game parlays found on the Parlay Hub. You can lace them up and follow your bets with player prop tracking, or bet on the fly with the Pulse. Make every NHL watching experience more with FanDuel, North America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers kick off the season with $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Please play responsibly. You must be 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600. That's 1-866-531-2600, or visit connectsontario.ca. Colts, bro, So Money looks like an actor. WTF. So Money hair looks incredible this morning.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It does.
I actually had to spend.
Tweeted the same thing.
I actually spent some more time on it this morning than I would like to admit.
What goes into that process? Like, what's the hair process for you?
It depends, right? So it depends on the shower situation as well. If I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is take a shower, then the hair settles nicely because it's already wet, and then I can put a little bit of gel in it. I can style it the way I need to. If I don't take a shower in the morning, then it gets a little bit complicated because then I need to wet my hair manually, right? Which it has to be evened out. You can't just put just water in your hair. You need to put it nicely in like layers as well. So then the water gets evened out. It's even distribution in the hair, and then you got to put the gel evenly as well. So that becomes a longer process. But yeah, and then you got to make sure that there's no strays, right? I see a stray right there, right? So that's not okay. And then yeah, from there you just go.
I don't like the peek behind the curtain. I like to pretend you just wake up that way, and this is just how it looks all the time, like a cartoon character. Just it never changes.
Yeah, and there's that too, right? Bets of burden. Sometimes you just wake up and it's just depending on how last night went. That determines whether it's going to be a hair day or a hat day as well.
Fair enough. All right. Charles here says, can't decide what makes today better, So Money's hair or the fact we have Habs hockey. Well, let's get into that. Let's start with this Habs game here tonight. The Les Habitants taking on the Washington Capitals. Montreal plus 180. The Caps minus 220. And right now we got a total on FanDuel 5.5 minus 142 over plus 116 under. 6 is elsewhere. Moretto, why don't you take the lead here for us on this Montreal game?
So these really are two teams kind of going in opposite directions a little bit right now. I'm not souring on Washington, but I think it's pretty clear that their play has dipped. Like last 10 games, they have over a 50% share of expected goals at 5-on-5 just twice. So like they were destroying teams early in the year. Those numbers were high every single game. They were generating a lot. They were pretty solid defensively. Now, we're not seeing the same team, and the results have started to falter a little bit. They were pretty lucky to probably beat the Canucks the other night. Obviously, that Sabres game was pretty ugly. Like they just have not been playing very good. They're struggling to find their game compared to where it was earlier in the year. A lot of that is just down to how much they're giving up right now. They're giving up a ton of chances at 5-on-5. They're defensively, they have slipped quite a bit. The offense has kind of dipped as well. They're generating nowhere near the same volume that they were before. And obviously we know the Habs. We've talked enough about how well the Habs have been playing lately and on a nightly basis. But like what's strange is that this game is basically being priced, at least, at some spots, where it was in their last meeting in October in Washington, where October 31st, you look at it, the Habs were coming off that 8-2 loss to Seattle. The Caps were rolling. Now, granted, the market probably wasn't fully behind them at that point, but they were getting pretty close by then. And the market was pretty much bottomed out on the Habs at that point. Habs closed plus 196 in Washington, and now you're getting a plus 191. when they're playing their best hockey right now with probably their best roster of the season so far. And Washington's in a downswing. I get the Dobes is starting, and that kind of, has an impact on this line as well. But yeah, I think this number is too high. I haven't pulled the trigger on the Habs yet. I don't think they're necessarily going to get a ton of market support, so I don't think there's a rush to. But I am strongly leaning that way, and I am looking at an over here as well, just given what Washington has been giving up. And I know, against teams like Montreal, they are okay playing a bit more open. They don't necessarily lean into that defensive style like they do against some of the more top teams. So I think this could be a more open game. I do like the over. I know Dobes has been playing great, but we still have to. I mean, it's a very small sample size. We still have to take that into account. I don't think he's going to keep allowing one goal every 2 starts. He's obviously a downgrade from Montembeault still, regardless of what we've seen so far. So yeah, I do like the over. I haven't bet it yet, but I likely will be on it pretty soon. And I lean Habs, but I have not bet that yet either.
Moretto leaning a couple of ways. There are a few things he likes, but not quite getting to for a best bet. Is there anything that you've got for a best bet here in this game, So Money?
So while I do agree with Alex that Washington's play has dipped, I also see a team, and I saw it firsthand, that they're so well coached, and they are playing the way they need to play to get results. In that Canucks game, you can look at the numbers and say, well, they didn't generate much, and they gave up a lot, which is true, but they also were very comfortable playing in that game. It was an out of conference game. They were comfortable letting the Canucks dictate the way that the Canucks wanted to play, in the sense that Washington is very comfortable playing a tight game, and we're seeing lately that they're okay playing an open game as well. So if the Canucks wanted to kind of clog up the neutral zone the way that they were trying to do against Washington, they were fine with that, especially with Logan Thompson being on his game as much as he was. We're seeing that from Washington as well. They're very comfortable with their goaltending, and that would be the one concern I have with the over in this game. I do agree with Alex's thoughts on the on the Habs here, but I will stay away from this game. I just want to point out, my biggest note in this game is that I think we need to be careful when we're looking at Washington going forward, because they are an elite team, and even though they might have dips in their play, a lot of it I think is going to be by design moving forward as they try to get through the regular season now. So yeah, again, even in that Canucks game, yeah, it was an overtime game, but I never felt that Washington was uncomfortable playing that game. So just something to keep in mind. And I'm interested to see how Washington plays this game, if they are going to be wide open, or if they're going to try to dictate a more defensive game here.
All right, there you go. So nothing for us in this one right now. Nothing to lock in. Charles says, though, just by the way, breaking news: So Money Sens just signed a huge extension. Ridley Gregg, 4 years,
pretty big number
3.25
for a guy who's never topped 25 points in his career.
Yeah, the most notable thing he's done is score an empty netter.
Yeah, I'm not I get the center market is what it is, but yeah, I don't know. That seems like a little bit of a big number for a guy with a very small sample, and that small sample not even being that good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like Alex said, that's the market, and you kind of have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, next game let's get to here. Let's go to Vancouver and Carolina. Vancouver plus 140, the Hurricanes minus 170, 6.5 total, plus 114 over, minus 140 under right now. So Money, what are you thinking with your Canucks here tonight?
They probably should have deserved better in that Washington game. Again, Washington, they just played the way that they needed to play in that game. Even though the Canucks generated a lot of offense, it was a lot of it was kept to the outside, and when they were able to generate high danger chances, Thompson was outstanding. I don't think we get that same level of goaltending from Carolina today. I would expect Demko to be back. And if he is back, it's going to be again a little bit of a longer layoff for him. And we've seen that we've already seen this last year and this year as well. It could take him a couple of games to kind of find his bearings. So I do like the over here. Canucks offensively, they're showing spurts, and I think that and there's no surprise with Quinn Hughes back. I mean, he's the engine of that team. So I feel comfortable betting the Canucks overs again with Quinn Hughes back, with the goaltending layoff there, and Carolina as well. Carolina has been generating. I'm just pulling up their numbers here. Their game against Toronto, I thought. Sir?
And a lot leakier too.
Yeah, and their game against Toronto, I thought they were outstanding offensively, and and they're starting to give up a bunch as well. So I think so the over is good here. I just see the market moving right now since I started talking here. What's going on here? Oh, there's over money coming in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and lock that in.
Over 6 minus 110.
Yeah, I don't know why it just started right now.
Okay, we'll lock that in for so money there. Moretto, is there anything for you to add? Do you agree, disagree with this one?
Yeah, no, I agree with this one. Both teams have been a lot leakier. I bet this too, and I like the fact that obviously Tokarski going here. Like the Canes have not necessarily changed their approach with Tokarski in net. It's not like they're going to just try and sit back and shelter him. They're still just playing Canes hockey, and Canes hockey lately has been generating a lot of offense and maybe giving up a little bit more, but I think they're okay with that. And, the Canucks should be able to get there with Tokarski in net here. And we have seen a significant uptick from the Canucks offensively. JT Miller looks a lot better right now. He looks a bit more inspired. Maybe that has to do with the fact that Pettersson is not in the lineup and, their whole little feud is put to the side for the meantime. But he definitely looks better. Them as a team are generating more, and obviously Quinn Hughes being back is the catalyst in that. So yeah, I agree. I do actually hope we get Demko here because, like we talked about before, these guys after sitting out for a while typically tend to struggle a little bit. And this is a really tough matchup to come back into the crease for against the Carolina team that is going to get a lot of chances against you.
Okay.
I don't think it's possible to overstate how frustrating this is because when Miller was out, Pettersson played very well in those 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
When Pettersson has been out, Miller upgrades his game as well. Like what are we doing here, guys? Like
it's crazy.
It's just so frustrating. Like I don't understand this.
It is pretty nuts. Okay, there you go. Over 6 locked in, courtesy of So Money. Over 6 minus 110 here on this one. Let's go. That's 2 games down now. Let's go next to Chicago, Detroit. The Blackhawks plus 150. The Red Wings minus 182 and a 5.5 on the total, minus 140 over, plus 114 under right now on FanDuel. We've got a total of 6 here in this game. Elsewhere, So Money, what are you thinking in this one?
So I know Detroit has been playing well, but let's settle down here a bit. We're into the minus 180s, 190s now in Detroit. That's a little tough for me to stomach. Talbot confirmed in net. He's been struggling and he's trending lower for me as well. I would assume Mrazek goes for Chicago in their first game of a back-to-back here. So you have to look at the number, right? Chicago, yes, they beat Colorado. I didn't think they played a poor game, and it's not like they were lucky to like win that game. It was a coin flip, and the coin flipped the Blackhawks way. So I'm not going to take away or add too much to their win against Colorado. Detroit, mentioned, have been playing well. Wins against Pittsburgh, Columbus, Ottawa in there. A nice win in Winnipeg as well as a win at home against Washington. So They are playing well. They are beating good teams and bad teams. I just cannot get past the minus 180 here. So Chicago, I have them down to plus 140. Um, I don't necessarily love the play. I love the number, and I think that this is the kind of game that if we get if the goaltending trend continues the way it goes for both of these guys, then I think that Chicago can make this a coin flip game again. So I bet Chicago. What are we at right now? Can we get plus? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think down to plus 140 is good.
Yeah, so Chicago, we can get ourselves here right now. Pretty good number on that one. We'll grab plus 155 we can get right now. So throw that in here for today. Moretto, any agreement, disagreement here on this one?
This is why So Money has an OnlyFans and I don't, because he has the cojones for it. I do not. I agree that Chicago's the right side probably here, just based on number. And Detroit is inflated. That being said, my appetite to back this Hawks team, especially on the road, is basically non-existent at this point. And yeah, it's a crazy number for Detroit to be laying. They're not necessarily, their play hasn't changed all that much. Where like they're still not generating a lot. They're still playing solid defensively. Like that was the case before Lalonde got fired too. It's not like we've seen this drastic uptick in their play or anything like that. Their power play has just all of a sudden started firing at an insane clip. They're not really scoring a ton of 5-on-5 still. They're just scoring a ton of power play goals, and I don't think that's sustainable. One thing, Chicago has a lot of faults and they struggle in a lot of areas. The penalty kill is not one of them. They have been good on the penalty kill this year. So just from a matchup perspective, that helps them a lot here in this spot. But like they're giving up a lot at on the road, especially at 5-on-5. And whether Detroit can take advantage, I'm not sure. But like, yeah, I don't really want to step in on the side here. And I think the total's fair because there's kind of potential for this to go either way, where Detroit still struggles a little bit to generate a 5-on-5, even against a Chicago team that has given up a lot. And, this comfortably stays under the 6, or Detroit gets it going a little bit and Chicago continues to bleed chances and bleed goals like they have been lately on the road. And this Detroit, gets to 6 themselves. So nothing for me here.
Okay. So two best bets so far here on the show today. We've got a double best bet on the over 6 minus 110 in Vancouver, Carolina. We've got the Blackhawks money line plus 155 here so far. So keep it moving with a couple more games to get to. And next up, we're going to go to LA Kings, Winnipeg Jets, the Kings plus 105. We've got the Jets minus 126, 5.5 a total right now, minus 106 over, minus 114 under. So money, what are you thinking here?
I played the Kings. They are still in range. Anything plus money, it's good. I think that Hellebuck is carrying the Jets right now. I don't think their play has been particularly good. But Hellebuck, I know he had a bad game against Anaheim last week. The game that we had, of course, the game we had the under on. But other than that, I think that he's been solid, and he's the reason why Winnipeg is even getting results right now. The last few weeks, they did win against Nashville, but I don't think they played particularly well in that game. And if you're not playing well against Nashville, that's kind of a red flag for me right now, especially when you're at home. So I do like the Kings. Not much else to say about the Kings besides what we've already touched on. They're a team that's really firing right now. They're coming into their own. The opponent doesn't matter. You look at their wins. It's been against good teams at home, on the road, bad teams at home, on the road. They're able to elevate their play against anybody. Anything plus money tonight, I'm good on the Kings, and I think we're dipping already here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and lock in the Kings, unless if Alex has any objection.
No, you know how much I love this Kings team, and I still am not fully caught up on Winnipeg. I do agree with this at plus money for sure. I think even beyond that, I think there's some room here. I love this Kings team. I really, really, really like this Kings team. I like how they match up here. I think when you look at this total, too, at 5.5, like just based on how much Winnipeg has been generating at 5-5, they haven't necessarily been scoring, but they've been generating a lot. And LA has been generating a little bit and has been giving up a little bit. Like you would instinctively think that this, maybe just based on those numbers, this should be an over. I don't like the under. So I'll do the preface with that, but like, I'm not going to just flip and go the other way here. But like, what I was trying to say is that matchup wise, though, I think the Kings actually match up really well. And this is a good spot for them to sort of stop the bleeding, so to speak, defensively, where they've been giving up a lot more. But here, they just depth wise up front, with those centers and stuff like that, they should be able to really, really limit what Winnipeg's able to do here. I think we'll see them lock in I think I like the way they match up front with this Winnipeg team. Hopefully they can get the goaltending, and we don't get a Hellebuck, another Hellebuck show where he steals this one. But I do like this Kings team, and I especially like how they match up against Winnipeg, because there's not a ton of teams that can go line for line with them the way the Kings can here. And I think the Kings kind of have the matchup advantage sort of all the way up and down that lineup up front.
All right, there you go. That is 3 best bets here through 4 games. Hopefully that's enough for the people out there. Go to our last but so money, certainly not least game of the night. The San Jose Sharks, another privilege to be able to watch the Sharks go to work here tonight against the Utah Hockey Club. San Jose plus 225, the Hockey Club minus 280, 6.5 total, plus 100 over, minus 122 under. So money. Do you have any bets in this one? I know you're watching it.
We're watching it for sure. San Jose is giving up so much right now. They're just they're so leaky defensively. Utah, we've talked about how Utah would like to play a more defensive game, but they just can't. The problem is, I think the number has already. We're seeing a juice to 6, and I think that's probably where we should be. So I do like the over. I'll end up passing on the total just because I think the number is where it should be. The problem for me right now is that Utah number. Really, really tough to stomach that, but I just don't know if I want to spend a night having money on San Jose and Chicago on the same night.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, that's a tough way to spend a Friday night.
Can I interest you in the reverse puck line parlay, San Jose, Chicago?
Oh man, you're killing me. Yeah, Utah is the better team. I just don't know if they're minus 290 I'm seeing there, or 280. I don't think they're that much better. So I'll end up passing this game reluctantly just because of the difference with San Jose and Chicago in this game is that I see some upswing in Chicago, specifically in their goaltending. San Jose, the way that they're playing defensively, I don't think that there's any amount of goaltending that's going to be able to mask that. So I will end up passing this game. But again, if you're able to watch, you should watch it.
You should.
Because of Macklin down there. But yeah, I'll end up passing this game from a betting perspective.
Moretto, are you passing on this game?
Yeah, it's insane how much both these teams are giving up defensively right now. And like you can say it's kind of matchup dependent for maybe Utah because they've had a tougher schedule, but like they also gave up a ton to Seattle and stuff too. And like this is not a Seattle team that is generating much right now. So you'd like to think, okay, well, this is a spot where they can tighten up against San Jose because San Jose is struggling to generate too. But like we just haven't seen an ability for them to do so to this point. So like how can you bank on that changing here? And I just, at the price that this over is at right now, like I still also don't trust San Jose enough to generate, even though, I mean, everything Utah's done lately has showed us they'll probably give up a lot of chances here, but like still hard to trust the San Jose team. And like, yeah, Askarov, there is the potential for him to, have these great games, even when they, kind of bleed chances. So I'm just going to stay off this one altogether. And get to bed early here and nurse this man cold I'm dealing with.
Um, the chat, who's getting Teams messages? Whose Teams is going off? Connor says, who's getting Teams messages? I keep thinking I'm getting pinged from work. It's gonna be like so many. I don't know if you caught the show the other day. Albert for like a minute and a half was furiously typing, and then Moretto and I called him out, and he's like, I haven't typed since the beginning of the show. Then I went and played the show back for him.
So so I'm not like Albert. That is my computer. I forgot to turn off all my notifications before I came off. There's a lot of college basketball stuff going on right now, so
You're good.
yeah. So I do apologize.
It's all good. Yeah, he was right.
I think Albert was in a fight with his girlfriend.
All right. So there you go. Those are best bets for tonight. We've got 3 in the 5 games. We've got here for today, Blackhawks money line plus 155, Canucks Carolina over 6 minus 110, and we've also got Kings Jets at we got the Kings money line plus 105. We want to wrap this thing up here today with anytime goal scorer parlay, boys. Anybody in the chat, you got anything? Fire in here right away, and we can maybe pull up some stuff ourselves if there's anything that's interesting in any of you guys.
Do it.
I didn't see anything myself. So money, anything?
Yeah, I do. I just want to pull it up here. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the number is, but we talked about it on the show. JT Miller to score tonight.
There we
go. Yeah, with the way that he's been playing, I think that you could say that there's been a fire lit up his ass, or he's showcasing himself, or it's simply because his enemy on his own team is not in the lineup. So, I think JT Miller is gonna get one in, and he's not scoring right now as much as his numbers indicate that he should be scoring. So I think that we're getting some value there as well.
Okay, we'll throw JT Miller plus 310. I've got one here for you, and I'm looking at it on the BetStamp tool. Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I was just going to say that one. I was looking at the same screen you are there.
Yes, I mean I'm not originating this.
He's scored. He scored against the Habs tonight. Come on, that's like that's.
I know that was kind of the throw in. I was like, yeah. This is. So there you go. There's 2. Rob Holden says Sherwood and Big Mac anytime. Well, we went with JT Miller, so Sherwood's out. Am I
Big Mac?
Big Mac, like. Okay, I'm glad Moretto, you also didn't know. So, Money, you have any idea? Big Mac. Who is this? Oh, Macklin.
Oh, Celebrini. Okay. I kept thinking McKinnon. I was like, they're not.
That's what I was like. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, he's not playing. Like, who's this? What is Celebrini? Let's see. Celebrini, 240. Best price is on FanDuel.
I'm not going to say no to the Calder Trophy winner.
Okay, let's go. Celebrini in. We needed one more here. One more. Ecold says Pierre-Luc Dubois first goal 22-1.
Well,
I'm not putting that in the parlay. Yeah, I will be betting that. It ain't going in the parlay. Celebrini plus 240 in, by the way.
So we can't do Cooley now because we already have. We can't do Protests or Jarvis because we have
Fiala.
I like Fiala.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. Fiala in. That is 4. Okay. That'll do it for the anytime goal score parlay. That is the 4th player added to the list here. I will also be betting Pierre-Luc Dubois first goal myself. What we've got for our 4 legs, JT Miller, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Macklin Celebrini, Kevin Fiala. 4 legs, $10 pays you almost 2,000. 1,900. and 52 here on the night. Those are our anytime goal scorer legs. We've also got Blackhawks money line plus 155, Canucks Canes over 6 minus 110, and Kings money line plus 105. That's it for us.
Yeah.
Money future.
Yeah, so couple of things. As you can hear from messages, there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah,
One college football played the under in the Ohio State Texas game. Um, Played
okay.
53, 52 and a half is fine. I've got it down to about 51. The other thing is the future. I did play a future. The the Atlantic Division. Tampa Bay is 10 points behind Toronto right now, 4 games in hand. They also they're also playing a lot better. We've touched on it. Florida, we know what Florida is. They're I don't think they care either way about the division. They're more interested in the way that they're playing headed into the playoffs. Toronto, we've talked about them. I do like Toronto, but I also agree that they may not be getting the results a little bit moving forward. Boston, we know what Boston is. I'm not high on Boston as well. So this opens up the door for Tampa Bay, and I don't think there's plus 500 out there anymore, but down to about plus 420. I think that's good. And as Charles said, you just know that Tampa Bay division is going to come down to Jonas Johansson. Jonas Johansson starts somewhere, so I will be extra nice to him going forward. I'm not going to dog him too much. I probably will refrain from betting his overs as well because we need to get on good terms. I am going to need him to cash this future. So Tampa Bay to win that division.
Okay, Tampa Bay to win the Atlantic division. As I try to figure out how to spell Atlantic there to add it to the sheet. It gets added here today, courtesy of So Money. That will be the first future of the season, or of the year, sorry, 2025. That's it. Anything else to add here, gentlemen?
No, I love that. I love that one though. Talked about this team so much. I'm really high on this Lightning team.
Yeah.
I am fully in agreement with that. I also like. I was just playing around in these. McKinnon, Art Ross is only minus 130. I don't think. I think he has a better chance of winning it than that. I don't think Draisaitl's going to catch him. 7 points behind. He's the next closest. He's got a pretty big cushion over McDavid right now, too. And I don't think we're going to see the same emphasis on regular season hockey from the Oilers like we maybe have in the past, whereas Colorado is going to be at a point where they're not going to be in a playoff battle, but like these games are going to be pretty important for them going forward still, like consistently, and they're the only line that can really generate. Like he's out there in all situations. I think he has a pretty sizable cushion. I don't think he's going to be caught. Minus 130, I think, is a little bit cheap still, given the lead he's got right now.
I'm just pulling that up. Yeah, minus 130 on FanDuel. You want to add this to the sheet here, Moretto?
Yeah, we can add it to the sheet.
Okay, we'll add that to the sheet. McKinnon minus 130. Art Ross, courtesy of Moretto. I have a question for you guys. I'm not throwing this in as a best bet, but I have a question. I was looking at playoffs to make playoffs, and I was looking in the Eastern Conference. There was one that was kind of sticking out to me. I know that they just had an injury the other day to one of the key guys on that team, but I got to hear their GM speak about the team the other day, and he said he owes it to the team, the guys in the room, and the fan base to try and continue to push forward, and that would be Don Waddell talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets. I was just kind of curious what you guys think about the pricing here on this, because I was looking and I was like, okay, I feel like right now there's kind of maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like there's kind of one spot open and it's a bunch of teams competing for it. You look at the Eastern Conference, it doesn't really feel like Florida, Toronto, Boston, Tampa are really going to fall out. Maybe Boston falls off a little bit, but I do think that they kind of get it back on track at least. I know So Money, they're not quite in agreement, but it's like there's one or two spots there that are open. I was looking at the Blue Jackets at plus 540. I'm like, look at Detroit, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Senators ahead of them right now. I don't know what you guys think about that number. It was just something that like intrigued me the other day and got me
Mm,
to start thinking.
I agree
Yeah,
based on those comments for sure. Sorry, you want to? I
yeah,
agree
no,
based on those. Go ahead, go ahead. My bad. I teed you up. And then I went ahead anyways.
no, I was just gonna say that like there's 8 points separating 1 through 10 of the non-playoff teams there, right? And then you kind of look around them. That's the first thing I do. I look to see who is around them at this moment. Tampa Bay's around them, but they're not going to be in the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks. Boston is around them. I think Boston stays around them because I think Boston's going to have a tough time making the playoffs. And then you get down to like kind of the next tier where you have Pittsburgh, Ottawa, Montreal, Detroit Rangers. I'd put them all in the same tier, and then you have another lower tier, which is the Islanders, Flyers, and Sabres. So why at plus 540? Why can't Columbus stay with the Penguins in Ottawa and Montreal? Right?
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't. And I also like the way that they're kind of approaching these games now. There's more there's more expectations there within that locker room, right? Um they they kind of believe that that they need to do something, like you said. So at plus 540, I absolutely love that number.
Yeah. It was something I saw the other day because I was kind
Yeah.
of digging in some of the markets and I was like, really? Like, is Ottawa like plus 110 and Columbus at plus 540? Is it that different there for some of those spots? Like, obviously, even at that, I don't necessarily think that they get in. They get in the playoffs, but plus 540 to be competing in that clump. Like, I don't know, Moretto, you have thoughts on this one as well?
Yeah, I agree based on those comments. I think it is encouraging to hear the GM come out and say that. And obviously, like what they did in the offseason and stuff shows that they're not just gonna throw in the towel here either. We're like signing Monahan is not a move you make to that contract if you're
Yeah.
like fully invested in a rebuild and stuff, right? Obviously now
Yeah.
we got to see what his health is like and stuff, but I agree at that number, absolutely worth a flyer. I just still think this team sucks. Is my thing. Like their numbers are still really bad. Like they're not playing good hockey. They're kind of getting
Okay,
results and maybe
counterpoint
yeah,
though.
all those teams are very bad.
Do the
Or no.
do the Islanders not suck and the Penguins not suck? You know what I mean? Like, are they that much less of not sucking than
I
the Blue
am
Jackets?
I am such a sucker for this Isles team. Like Sorokin
I
gets a
know.
shutout last night, and we're back, baby. Isles to make the playoffs. I was just looking though; it's like 285. That's a terrible number at this point. No chance I'd do better
Way
than
too
that.
much leave off influence here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But like Lou came out and said the other day too, he's like, we're not trading. We're not trading these guys. We're not trading Nelson. Nothing has changed. I still think that this roster is like, if you look at the roster top to bottom when healthy, based on like Columbus, Pittsburgh, Ottawa, Montreal, Detroit, like all those teams, the Islanders have a better roster than all those teams, and they have by far the best goaltender of all those teams in Sorokin. So like, I still think their pathway is clear. They're not crazily out of it. They're 5 points back of Columbus with a game in hand right now. I still, call me delusional, I still think they're the team from this group that ends up making the playoffs.
Wow, I think they still rank pretty high on the suckage scale here.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I just hope it's
Okay.
not the Rangers.
Do you have any CBB, so money?
Yeah, I just saw
Honestly,
that.
after this comment, we probably shouldn't even answer that CBB question. Oh, Mark,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah, you can you can still get threes here. Up to three. Manhattan -3.
There you go. There you go. There's your CBB for the day. That'll do it for us here on the show today. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. We'll be back on Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time for more picks and previews. If you enjoyed the show here today, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel at Edgework HQ. Follow us on Twitter, Edgework HQ. Betstamp, that Betstamp app to track all our picks at Edgework HQ. But enjoy the weekends. Enjoy the games tonight. And good luck on your bets.